Coach Rhulani Mokwena, congratulations on the victory. If you can give us a perspective of the game from your side, please.
Yeah, thanks, Shubs, and good evening to members of the media. First, let's congratulate Pirates for being a worthy opponent. I think they showed their qualities in certain moments in the first half, and we've got to be gracious and humble even in victory, and understand that in football, to have a good match, you need two good opponents, and Pirates have some very good players on the pitch, and even the structure was a little bit difficult for us because they play in a very awkward way. Awkward in the sense that Basaka inverts from left fullback into left center half, and it looks like it's a back three. And then when you go into that, then they overload the midfield with Lodge and Unevadai, who come in as the double tens, right in front of Ben Mutswara and Musele. And then that 4 versus 2 gave us a few problems, especially in the one build-up. But then we knew at halftime, and we made a clear and conscious observation, acceptance to say there are certain spaces in football you cannot defend in certain moments. And then we decided to neglect those spaces at halftime and tried not to defend those spaces and defended the spaces that they were creating problems in with, which is the central area. And then we tweaked a little bit the system. We gave River a different position. We pushed the fullbacks a little bit higher so that we could invite their wing backs, and then we could withdraw Hoto a little bit more, because when we were shallow, Hoto stayed higher. But when we were higher, then Hoto followed a little bit more, and that minus the huge strength of Pirates. And then we regained control of the first half, and we then refreshed the legs. And but good compliments to Mamelodi Sundowns for a very, very good performance, very dominant, very aggressive, both first half, second half. First half we had a couple of difficult moments, but we stayed together and we fought together, and we showed good integrity and honesty to try and protect the team. And then congratulations to Steve Kompela, because he's been working very, very hard with the players on set pieces, and it was good to see that 3 of these goals were on set pieces, because when we do our tactical work, once we are done, they remain behind and they invest, and these are the results of investment, you know. So congratulations to Coach Steve, and also to our performance analysts and the entire technical team for the work behind the scenes. And congratulations to the Mamelodi Sundowns supporters. I think this one is for them.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take the 6 questions from Temba, Robin, Velile, Sobri, Rob, starting with Sabelo. 1 question each, please, gents. Thank you. Sabelo, please go ahead, sir.
Oh, Shup, is that me, Kara?
Yes, please, Karabo, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, yes. Good evening, Coach, and good evening once again. Yeah, good evening, Coach, and good evening to my colleagues as well. Coach, congratulations on the victory. I've really run out of superlatives trying to explain how good a player Themba Zwane is. Of course, it's a team effort. Of course, it is. But individual players such as him, they just show you, the class that he has. And one thing that I understand in football is that simplicity is one of the most difficult things. What does it mean for you personally, having a player such as Themba Zwane in your squad? I mean, it's been fantastic over the last, 4, 5, 6 seasons. Thank you.
No, Karabo, it's not just Themba. Of course, Themba is special in his own right. He has qualities that belong to the best in the world. The best football players, Karabo, are hardworking. They are intentional with their football. They manage their careers and not their talents. And Themba does that very, very well. Themba is a player that invests a lot. He does his corrections. He analyzes his games. He sits with us to check where he can improve. I mean, can you imagine that the last game when he was man of the match, we still were able to sit and say there's issues with our throw-ins. When he receives the throw-ins, the body's not orientated right, and then he gets dispossessed. And we wanted to we showed the videos of the throw-ins with our analysts, and we did the corrections, and it looked a little bit better today. So Temba has this growth mindset that a lot of successful people, and we always say this, is success has the same clues, and Temba is a senior player, leads in that regard. His attitude is good. He trains very hard. He trains even alone, and invests a lot. I mean, there was a video when we played, and I think 3 matches ago, he wasn't in the starting lineup, and we rested him. But at 1 a.m. when I looked, I saw Temba training, and this is the mentality that Temba has, and this creates then a culture at Sundowns, because successful cultures are embedded from a working culture. You go all over in business, in politics, everywhere. I mean, if you look at these countries that are booming economically, Japan, China, South Korea, they are all based on one thing, and that's a working culture. And this is exactly what we try to have as a culture at Sundowns. But this is led by special players, and as I said, Temba is not the only one. I mean, you can talk about Andile Jali in the same vein. You can talk about Rivaldo. You can talk about Peter Shalulile. You can talk about Rushin, Grant Kekana, Lyle. I mean, Tapelo. These are players that invest a lot. We sit and we analyze, and we spend hours and hours on that. And when you have good players who are good human beings and who are coachable, then you've got a possibility to be able to have a very, very dominant team on the pitch. And so the game belongs to the players. Congratulations to them for fighting and putting a lot of respect on the Mamelodi Sundowns name.
Thank you, Coach. Rob in Cape Town.
Thanks, Shippy. Congratulations, Coach. Hope you're well.
Very well,
Coach,
thanks. How are you, Rob?
Very, very good. Thanks.
How's
Coach,
the weather in Cape Town? Sorry.
Nice and hot today. We've actually got summer for the first time.
Yeah, we must swap, man. It's a bit windy and cold here.
But talking about hot, I know you don't like to single players out, but it must be a little nice and special to see Pavel score 2 goals, considering the sacrifice he made in the last game.
Yeah, this is exactly that. Exactly that, Rob. Very important for the takeout. It's a big lesson for football players. Selfless football players always succeed. The universe has a way of rewarding people who are not selfish. Pavel understood the sacrifice that we had to make, and we had to make it for the team. And then he accepts, and he understands that the team needed to make that sort of change. And fortunately for us, in that moment, the change also worked. And then when it works, and with a clear, humble understanding from the football player, there's then an opportunity presented, because the player then does not keep a long face and drag his feet and disrespect the coaches on the pitch. No, the player has huge humility. He works hard and respects the club more than anything else. Pavel showed that he respects the club, and when you do that, we have huge admiration and appreciation, not just for you as a football player, but as a human being. And this is what the gentle giant showed today. He shows that he's a very good person, but a good person that is prepared to help the team to be able to achieve its objectives. And yeah, kudos to him, and thank you to him also. And many of the other substitutes, to be honest, but in particular to Pavel for helping us, because that sort of reaction helps us to align the behavior in the change room, and that's very, very important.
Thank you, Coach. Sobri Chabalala. Sobri, please go ahead. Sir.
Thank you very much, Shoops, and then good evening, Coach, and good evening, colleagues. Coach, maybe it will be far-fetched, but I'm sure in the back of your mind, guys, you are looking to be the invincible of South Africa. We've never seen that in South Africa, the invincible, it ended up with Arsenal in London or in Britain. Are you starting to think about that, to be a team that goes the whole season unbeaten?
No, no, Mr. Shabalala, not even in the slightest. And for many reasons. The first is we have huge respect for all our opponents. We respect all our opponents. We respect the coaches of those opponents. We don't speak ill of teams and mention things like these people think they are invincible and all these things. We have respect. And sometimes when you have respect, the universe then also supports you. But when you disrespect, sometimes it's a little bit difficult, because even when you show disrespect to people who show you respect, sometimes at the end of the day, everything, then God makes a way to try to bring you back, because God loves us all, So we can't do that. We can't think of being invincibles, because we have respect. We respect all the opponents. There's such a long way to go. And we have a clear understanding that what goes around comes around. So we've got to keep our feet firmly on the ground and continue to work, because this club is a club that has instilled this culture of excellence and greatness. And anything less than playing every single match with the same intensity, with the same commitment, the same aggression, the same concentration is just not good enough. If that at the end of the season helps us to continue to be unbeaten, then that becomes a byproduct. The focus is just to make sure that we go game by game. We respect the coaches of the opponents. We respect the opposition. We analyze and we check. Like all the games, we go into 3, 4, 5 games even of the opposition. And even when the games come thick and fast with 2 days in between, we know that we've still got corrections to do, and we analyze our game to make sure that our performances are always at the right level. And then we check the strengths and the weaknesses of our opposition. So this is the work that we do. And then when you have good human beings in your change room who work hard and who love winning and who do whatever it takes in relation to applying themselves on the pitch for the win, then of course, then we understand that great things will come out of that process. But at this moment in time, it's feet firmly planted on the ground, and we look forward to the next match.
Thank you. Velila Mnyandu, please go ahead.
Good evening, Coach.
Good evening, Coach.
Congratulations on the emphatic victory.
Thank you, sir.
So, what the score is? What now? It's when you look from what you had done in the first round and also what you've done now, Coach. I look at the first half and I look at what you did in the second half, and for me, it shows a different Sundowns. Still in the last 2-3 seasons. Let's talk about the variation of your play, because Sundowns before was not a team that would dominate set plays like we've seen it, particularly this season. And this is how I would say you demolished Pirates in today's game. What goes in terms of this variation of play that you've been emphasizing on?
Thanks, Davi. Look, in football, there's various ways, and of course, the 4 phases of football say to you, you are either in possession, you are either out of possession, or you are either in transition to defend or transition to attack. You then have the 5th phase, which is a phase that sometimes we manipulate and accommodate in the 2 dominant phases, where when we are attacking, then it says whatever is the profile of our attack, we try to bring in the set pieces, and whatever the profile of our defense in relation to the principles, we try to bring in set pieces. So we don't want to isolate these phases. We want to have a very global, very economical way of playing that has huge respects for every single moment of the game. And these moments are very closely knit together, and you cannot, in modern football now, start separating those. What that then means is that you've got certain schemes in open play and in standard situations. We didn't have a clear understanding that as much as we are able to score from open play, we were not very satisfied with the delivery of the set pieces and the aggression inside the box. And as I said, huge compliments to Steve Kompela and the analysts for working on our set pieces and giving us an even more dangerous way of being able to hurt the opposition. So yeah, this is how it is in football, and in particular when the games are thick and fast, coming thick and fast, you've got to be able to have different weapons. Sometimes you need the shotgun, sometimes you need the rifle, sometimes you need the AK-47, and good. Sundowns have armed themselves very, very well and go into every battle with the right ammunition. So congratulations once again to the team, and we thank them for the 3 points.
Thank you, Coach. Robin Duke with the last question. Thank you, Mr. Matlala. Please ask your question.
Coach, I wanted to find out from your side here, what was the trigger to the scoreline? Was it the sub of Nda? Because we heard Falo David that saying that it unbalanced them, you know, when he was taken off in the second half. And also, just
Sorry,
on that.
Please, Robin, one question, please, because Temba is back. One question, please, sir. Nda, let's get this answer.
Nda. No, I think I can't talk about Pirates' tactics. I as I said, I have to respect Orlando Pirates, big institution. The chairman is a father figure to me, and I reserve comment on this matter.
Temba Chawalala, and if the coach allows, we will go back to you, Robin. Temba Chawalala, please go ahead.
Congratulations, Coach. I just want to find out something from you, Coach. Looking at your players, now that you tap into the human element and more about the human beings that you have. I look at your players, even when there's a close shot on them, going into the match as substitute or coming out, making way for the other players, they are all wearing a smile. Just take us through that, Coach. Is it something that you've worked on mentally, that the players have to have that attitude and posture towards the game? Because I see, happy people there at Sundowns.
Look, again, as I say, Titi, we can stand here and claim to be the best coaches in the world. No, it's not possible. We are only good coaches because we have good players, and the players understand that there's a certain professional conduct. There's a certain professional conduct when you play for Mamelodi Sundowns, and that includes how you carry yourself, how you carry your body language, how you train on the pitch. And then you've got to then respect the game, respect the club, and respect the magnitude of people that love this institution. And then when you're able to do that, then it's a little bit easier to be able to get the best out of you. So they smile because they are good human beings. They smile because they are happy to play for Mamelodi Sundowns. They smile because Mamelodi Sundowns makes them happy. And then when the club gives you everything to be able to make not just yourself happy, but your family happy, and the people that love you and they support you, then of course, then you are able to give your best. And you can think about yourself, for an example, when you go to work and you are happy to go to work every single day, the productivity levels are extremely high. So we have an understanding of this, but it's a minute understanding because this needs to be carried out by the players. And it's very easy when you ask players who are good people, who have respect, not just for themselves, but respect for the club, show integrity to the club, then it's a little bit easier to be able to see what you see. And you see what you see, not because of us, but because of this institution, because of this club, because of the leadership of this club, the chairman, the president, and everybody involved in managing this club and these players, and making sure that they are happy to play for Mamelodi Sundowns. They are happy to die on the pitch for Mamelodi Sundowns. And this is the reason why these good football players are able to play with a smile on their faces.
Robin Duke, your hand is still up. Please ask your question. And
There's a second one, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The first question, you just stopped me because I was trying to enlarge. What was about coach?
Humble apologies, Rob.
Yeah. So was the
And it's our fault.
Yeah, sorry, Robin. I've sent you a message to say what's your question.
Scoring the first goal.
Okay, Robin, let me ask the question as I've got your WhatsApp. Coach, was this? It was the same lineup to say the trigger to the score line, was it because Nda sub, or they knew that when they scored the first goal, Pirates was going to come out to chase the game? Thanks.
As I said, I don't know what happened in the Pirates camp, and I can't speak about Pirates and what happens. I do know that Kwanda is a similar profile to Nda in relation to analysis, certain strengths, of course, certain weaknesses, of course, and what we tried to exploit with Nyauza and with Nda became a little bit different also, but maybe the scheme was similar, except to say with Kwanda, you don't have the luxury of being pressed on the right and escaping with the left. And that does have a little bit of that luxury because his left foot is just as strong as his right. So sometimes when you press, you've got to be very careful in relation to not overly closing the right and thinking that it's going to be closed. But with Kwanda, you have that possibility. But yeah, no, Pirates have their work to do in relation to analyzing the game, and we've got our work to do in terms of analyzing the game. We just always play to score. We play to win, and we don't put too much emphasis on whether or not the opposition make this or that sub. We just prepare ourselves as best as we possibly can. We profile every team, profile every individual. And we know the limitations of all the teams in the league because we invest and we work very, very hard in this team. We sleep late if it must be to make sure that we have all the data. And this is not a one-man scenario. This is a collective, and everybody in the technical team, including the players, including the management and the support staff. Everybody is responsible for the good results, and huge compliments to the Mamelodi Sundowns family for the contributions and kudos on a well-deserved victory, to be honest. Well-deserved.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
There's someone with a lighter note.
It's no lighter notes.